on YouTube. Today is Friday, the 12th of September, and it is 6 o'clock p.m. UK time, and I'm only just started. So, as usual, I'm going to take any questions, anything to do with mental health, therapy, mindset, psychology, human behavior, relationships, mindfulness, any of those things we can discuss. And I will stay for maybe 1 or 2 hours, depending on how many people are online asking me things today. For those who don't know me, I'm a therapist and coach, and I use my free time to do this whenever I can. So if you have any questions about anything at all, just ask me. And what I'm going to do is to start the live as I always do, by reading and commenting on some of my own posts that I put out today. And hopefully by the end of it, some of you would have found inspiration to ask me something and start a conversation. So the first post that I put out today on TikTok goes like this: the way you treat others is your legacy, your karma, and your opportunity every day to change your reality. So this is to say how the things that we do, the things that we say, the energy that we spread out there impacts our reality. We are not the victims of our environment. We are the creator of it. If we believe that we are the victims of our environment, we will fulfill that prophecy, and we will feel powerless, and we will suffer from a reality that we have actually created and started. And so it's absolutely possible at any moment to start to redirect the shape of our life, the shape of our reality, by starting to behave differently. And the best way that I can think about it is by treating others better, if we can. Next post goes like this: strength and courage is not allowing cruel people to turn you into one of them. And so very often we talk about that sentence, we use that sentence, hurt people hurt people. And it's very true. And what we want to realize is that some of us, we're hurt, but we don't end up hurting others. And this is where the strength and the courage comes into play. When hurt people become hurtful to others, it is because they have a belief that the world is divided in two categories: people who are hurt and people who hurt. And so because they don't want to be hurt anymore, they're going to hurt others in the illusion, the belief that this will fix their problems. I'd rather be the predator than the prey. But yes, fear, hurt are contagious. And if you want to change our life and make this world a better place, you want to address that belief and realize that it doesn't work like that. It's not a dog-eat-dog world. It's just the world that we create, and we can absolutely change the rules, change our behavior, and change our reality by learning how to practice self-compassion and compassion to others, and spread some goodness instead of being horrible to others before they are horrible to us, as a preemptive measure. I hope it makes sense. Next post goes like this: everything happens for a reason doesn't mean that what happened to you was fair. It means that you are not the reason why it happened. And so when we say that everything happens for a reason, people get very upset, and they're like, how dare you say this? All those bad things that are happening to me. And they're reacting because they're coming from an emotional place. And when we're emotional, we don't have any perspective. It's all me, my perspective. It's happening to me, at me, because of me. I need to protect, defend, retaliate. But if we can move on from the emotional state to the rational one, now we can realize things are happening for a reason. I may not know the reason, I may not agree with the reason, but there's always a reason, because everything in the universe is based on the law of cause and effect. And so things are happening that are continuing, and we happen to be there at the center point of all those events that are creating that situation for us in our life today. But the main thing about being angry at everything happens for a reason is that we believe that things are not fair, it's not just, it's not right. And this is why it's important to realize that that sentence, when we say everything happens for a reason, doesn't mean that it was fair. It only means that, as with everything, things happen because of X, Y, Z. And if we can have a mindset we're going to choose to find out why it happened for us. Now we're on to something else. We can really feel empowered and start to develop a growth mindset and an optimistic heart. Okay, that's it. I feel that I was a little bit, again, sometimes I'm a bit rushing to the slides. I'm coming from other mental space and I'm a little bit clumsy, but I hope that some of the things that I said made sense. I can read maybe 3 more posts. And again, guys, if you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, do ask me. I'm happy to address anything as long as I can add an input to explain the psychological reasons behind why those things are happening. Okay, next post goes like this. Stop trying to control yourself. Instead, learn how to understand, trust, accept, and eventually love yourself. You see, even the way that we talk to ourselves is so mean, so cruel to ourselves, so harsh. We're trying to control ourselves. And we should actually learn how to love ourselves instead of trying to control, as in repress, discipline, punish ourselves. We don't want to control ourselves. We want to understand ourselves. We want to accept ourselves and want to have a good relationship with ourselves so that ourselves doesn't need to react in ways that are frowned upon by society. Next post. The most dangerous comfort zone is the inability to challenge your own world views. So this is very important because we all deal with that, and we all deal with people who cannot challenge their own worldviews, and because of that, everyone is clashing, everyone is fighting online or in real life, politics. But we must realize that the world is constantly expanding, and so must we. And there's something called the Semmelweis reflex, and it's a subconscious bias that prevents us to accept a new information even if we have clear new evidence of it, because we have an emotional bias that goes against it. So a very simple example would be there are only 2 genders, because in the Bible it says Adam and Eve. And because of that, people are unable to accept, to realize that actually there are many genders, and all that we would have to do is to read up on that, and they will expand their mind and understand. But because they learned something that was true at some point in their life, they can't move away from that because then there's an emotional value attached to it. So that's the Semmelweis reflex. Another example that may be more easily digestible for people who may not agree with that sort of perspective would be that many of us, we've learned some things when we were younger that was true and has been debunked a long time ago. But we can't accept that new science that is absolutely clear, just because, again, the original belief that we have about the thing has an emotional attachment to it. And so the ability to challenge our own belief, realize that we are all limited by our belief system, all of us, by subconscious bias of all sorts, is the biggest tool that we have to expand our level of awareness and critical thinking and understanding of the world and ourselves in it. And so, yeah, I repeat that last time, the most dangerous comfort zone, it's a comfort zone, is the inability to challenge your own worldviews. And finally, the last post that I'm going to read up today goes like this. The trauma that your parents didn't resolve are yours to resolve. The trauma that you don't resolve are for the future generation to resolve. And so when we have trauma in the family, it's passed on generationally until someone stops it and heals. Until they do that, they're going to pass it on to their kids and so on and so forth forever. And it gets worse over time. And so it's very important to realize that we are the continuation of story. We're the continuation of a story that started a long time before us. We are the result of everything that happened to us in our life, but also before that. Because we are genetics, we are also influenced and shaped by the education and the relationship that we have with our parents as we grow up. And so when we heal ourselves, we're also healing everyone in our lineage, everyone above us. So this is a very poetic and beautiful way to look at it. But if we don't, we will perpetuate that curse, that tradition of suffering, whether we have kids or not. We do this with people. We don't have to have children to pass on generational trauma. The way we treat others, the way we behave in society are going to impact others just as well. Maybe not as much, but in enough capacity to impact the quality of the world. And so that's it. So anyone would like to start a conversation with me? Who have we got? We have all the words are taken. Caleb Gatcliffe stuck. What is stuck? Was the video frozen? I hope not. Arin, hi. Hello, Arin, how are you doing? Is there anything, guys, you'd like to talk about today? I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Hopefully some of you will muster the courage to open up, perhaps. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and an RTT therapist, and I specialize in depression, anxiety, addiction, self-sabotage, anger issues, and anything to do with stress and trauma. But I'm more than happy to talk about anything at all. I believe that if we can understand the human mind, we can understand ourselves, but also we can understand others. And we can start to make this world a better place, because this would change our behavior and our perception of the world. All the words are taken. What is your favorite mindfulness practice? I don't know. For me, mindfulness is a lifestyle. It's something that we do and we become, and it transpires in any aspect of our life. And so if you think about specific practice, I think the whole of it, being mindful, enjoying the present, enjoying whatever I'm doing, focusing, meditating, practicing gratitude probably will be everyone's favorite, I guess. Being mindful means being here and now, and it means also being alive, because unless we are mindful of this moment, we are not living our life. We are dreaming it. We are in the past, in the future, we travel all the time, and we are very rarely in the place where we can live our life. The present is where we can do things, where we can change things, where we can make things happen. But when you think about the future or the past, we are in a place where we have no power. We can't change anything about it. So we're not living our life. We are suffering from it if we are angry or scared of it, anxious about it. But we are not really living our life. And also, when we are not present, that distorts our experience of time itself. We know that time is elastic, depending on our mental state. And so sometimes things may seem like they last forever if we're bored. Sometimes things like they go very quick if we're totally immersed into it. But here's the thing, when we are mindful, we are learning how to stretch time. Time goes on forever, and this is also very special. I think mindfulness allows us, through the sheer simple and humble practice of being present. It's a skill that we reinforce over time, but that allows us to have a very different perspective of everything at some point. The way we experience everything becomes relative. Nothing is that important. Everything becomes easier and simpler and more enjoyable. And so, yes, I'm not sure if we could talk about, if you want to tell me about yourself or ask me some questions, I could recommend some mindfulness practice that would be best for that thing. But I don't think that there's necessarily one mindfulness practice that I prefer, because mindfulness is something that you do with everything. So that'd be similar as asking me, what do you which part of the day, what sort of things that you prefer in life. The whole point of mindfulness is to appreciate everything. Is to realize that all the moments matters as much as any other moment. And we like big moments. We're expecting for the big things, Christmas, wedding, competition day, or whatever it is, it's important. But mindfulness is teaching us that every single moment matters. And the big moments are very important, but also every single little baby steps that leads to them, and for what they are worth in and of itself, matter. If anything, the more we practice mindfulness, the more we realize that our best moment are the littlest ones, the ones with the less seemingly specialty about it. Anything can be beautiful, anything can be elevated, anything can be appreciated, anything can be perfect. And this is what mindfulness is about, is to realize that our life is made of moments, and each moment is precious and owns so much potential and opportunities if we know where to look at. I hope it makes sense. Maybe I didn't understand your question. All the words are taken. Mick H, how do I stop being angry? Okay, this is a very good question. I can talk about it for hours because I used to be very angry myself up to the age of 38. I have borderline personality disorder and ADHD and CPTSD and bipolar. But borderline and ADHD are the two conditions that for me elicited the most anger, rage, resentment, ideas of revenge, plot, dark thoughts. And I was very super reactive, super insecure. I took everything personally all the time. And so when we're angry, we want to first understand that anger in and of itself is not bad. It's an emotion, it's an energy, and all emotions are there to tell us something about ourselves. They're all there to not only tell us something about ourselves, but also to give us a human experience. We need to feel things in order to know what it is to be human. And so anger in itself originally is a system that we have to basically express ourselves and say, stop, no, when we need to set boundaries. For instance, anger also exists to gather focus, strength, and energy to do something. So if I have fear, I'm facing something that seems dangerous, anger will come to the rescue so that I can gather energy in my muscles and fight or flight, do something about it. So anger is very protective and can be very useful in our lives. The problem is that there's such thing as healthy anger and unhealthy anger. And so healthy anger is, keep away. You just walked on on my shoes. Stop walking, or something like that. You get to express it. That's it. Stop. That's healthy. You want to let it out. If you see something that is unjust, that is wrong, you need to speak out your truth. No, this is not right. If you see someone bullying someone, stop it. This is healthy anger. Unhealthy anger is when we have repressed healthy anger for too long, because society are telling us, control yourself, control your emotions, be strong, be better. You can't be angry, it's bad. You're weak if you're angry. And so now we are controlling, or more like we believe that we're controlling. We cannot control an emotion. When we're trying to control an emotion, we're repressing it. And so now that emotion that is repressed is trapped into the body. It's got nowhere to go. We're ignoring it, but it's an energy. And so it's got to be processed. If not, it's going to keep there. It's going to become toxic. It's going to try to come out at any chance. And that's where we experience unhealthy anger. It's like a pressure cooker. If you have repressed healthy anger for too long, now that anger will come out at the wrong place, at the wrong time, disproportionately. And that's why some people get angry for nothing, at the worst time, and it's absolutely over the top. It's not. That's because they've been holding on to that frustration, that anger for too long, and then eventually they couldn't hold it anymore, and brr, it comes out. And that's unhealthy anger. And that's the type of anger that we don't want to have in society. And so to avoid this, we want to understand our emotions. We want to know that there's a time and a place for anger. We want to have a good relationship with all of our emotions, first and foremost, so that we don't end up accumulating that anger inside of us, but it will come out at the wrong place and in all the worst ways. Another example is when we are drunk. For people who are repressing the anger, or people who are repressing the sadness, or whatever it is that we are repressing, when we are drunk, it all comes out. Because now the gate that we have are relaxed. And so some people who get drunk, they get angry when they are drunk, aggressive, violent. Some people, they get emotional, they cry a lot, because they are able now to let go of all those repressed sadness. And so this is one element of it. But there's a lot of reasons as to why we get angry that are not to do with that. So I would need to know more about yourself. But another thing that gets us to be very angry, aside the repressed anger case, situation, is that we have belief that we must be angry at certain things. And so we get angry because of the belief that we have. And so we want to address those beliefs. So if you could tell me what are the sort of things that gets you angry, we can address all of those beliefs by one together in this life. It's up to you, Nick Cage. But we get angry because we believe that we should get angry when we are facing that cue. Something that someone says, something that reminds you of something, whatever it is. If we have a lot of triggers, emotional, subconscious triggers in place, and if we have created some belief that when I'm going to face those cues, I must be triggered and I must react with anger or other emotions. We may react with disgust, we may react with fear and anxiety, with stress. We may react to everything, so we are being reactive and stressed out. And so we want to find out what are the patterns of anger for you. If you want to share with us, I'm more than happy to explore this with you. Mick H. Maria, hi. All the words are taken. Perfect. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. S, you look like my neighbor. I'm not sure what to do with that. I hope that you are coming from a good place. If I suspect any trolling, we get rid of people like that because I'm trying to create a safe space for people who need some help. So please be kind. Now, if you are genuine and if I genuinely look like your neighbor, it's fair enough. But just be aware that I will not tolerate any trolling or abusive, dismissive language on the live, please. Thank you. Robert Croshen, hello. Josiah, I am in the middle of a religious fast. Oh, hello, Josiah, by the way. And I can't get angry or worried. My problematic employee quit, set off some high-value customers, and locked me out of a system. I'm not even worried. I don't understand. Let me try to read this again. I am in the middle of a religious fast, okay? And I can't get angry or worried. It's a good thing, right? My problematic employee quit. That's a good thing as well. Set off some high-value customers and locked me out of a system. I'm not even worried. So what I'm taking from this is that you're in a good place, right? So thank you for sharing some positive feedbacks. Unless I have misread it. In that case, I need you to correct me. But yes, I'm happy for you. Good news. If everything is going well for you. And I appreciate this because people tend to talk more often about their problems than about the good things. Our mind is negativity biased by design and by education. Society is over, so we tend to be like that, but we don't have to. Josiah, does fasting help with emotional control and stability? I don't know the studies about it, but I would say yes, just based on my intuition and based on the things that I know about it already. When you fast, you are not in a state of digestion, and so the chemistry of your body is different. First, you're not in a state of inflammation, you don't use calories to digest, and so you're more alert. And so one of the reasons people fast for is to have mental alertness. So I don't know how it would necessarily correlate with emotional control and stability, but I believe that if you have more mental awareness, you have more access to the rational mind, and so therefore, you will be less prone to be hijacked by your emotional mind. I've read somewhere that a lot of big new companies like Apple, Google, Facebook, a lot of people who are working at a very high level in that company, they all fast for performance because they understand that when you fast, you have mental clarity. You are not foggy, digesting whatever you had. You are super sharp. And so because of that, because there's so much competition in that field, they do that as an extra way to be more competitive and optimize their brain power. And so I would say yes, because of that. If you have better mental clarity, it also means that you have more access here which is the opposite of being hijacked by your emotional mind, which is there. So yes, I believe that fasting would indeed help with emotional stability. I don't like to say emotional control. I don't think we should think about those two words together, emotions and control. I believe that this is the very reason so many people suffer. You must control your emotions. And because of that, everyone is repressing themselves and developing a lot of problems. We want to understand our emotions. We want to deal with them and have a good relationship with them. That's different. We don't want to control them. Control is one of the reasons why so many of us suffer. We control of everything, anything. Control is born from fear. The fear of losing control. The fear of not knowing what is there. The fear of uncertainty. The fear of the unknown. So you want to control. You want to understand. You want to know. And mindfulness, freedom, healing is about trusting, surrendering, and knowing when to focus and when to use our intelligence and when to surrender and yield and just chill and allow for the universe to do its job. We don't need to control everything. We can't control anything anyway. We have an illusion of control. We can influence things. We can guide things. We can show people how we do things and hope that they will agree with us. But we can never control anything. We can never control anyone. Life is made of time and moments, and so each moment brings new context, new energies. And so even if you have something, you only have it for one moment. You never control it. Control is the idea that you can choose whenever you're going to keep it and how long you're going to keep it for. And so I rather think of us being aligned to something in that moment. And then the next moment we're no longer aligned and we let it go. And we allow something else for the next moment. I hope it makes sense. What do you say, Josiah? Lynn, hello Lynn. Hi Didi. So glad I've caught your live stream. Just the calming effect I need after day surgery. All right, you had surgery today. Okay, how did it go? I hope it went well. Thank you for the little heart emojis. I put too much coffee. It's very bitter. Oh well. And so, yes, Josiah, wish you fast recovery, Lynn. Yes, indeed, absolutely. I'm hitting a blank. Don't know what to say now. Anyone wants to entertain us with any comment, please? Lynn, yes, it went well. Thank you. Fantastic. Fantastic. As we get older, I can talk about this because it's also something that I'm going through myself. But as we get older, we need to pay more attention to our body because our body changes. But also, something that I'm discovering now that is quite important is to realize that we can have different mindset in regards to aging and illness/health. And this is the way that I see it. I believe that a lot of us, we believe that as we get older, we're going to be ill and we're going to go down the hill and things are going to get worse. And it sucks and there's nothing we can do about it. But it's a mindset. And if we believe that, we're going to go that route. I personally believe the opposite. I believe that we have the option, the opportunity to change everything about our body. And it's not that we are doomed to get sick. It's just that our lifestyle has been unhelpful to our health. And as we get older, our body is telling us, you need to change your lifestyle. You need to address some of your unhealed emotional wounds as well. Change some things about you here, but also change some of your habits of life. Because the body is changing. But also because I believe at each stage of our life, we have different priority. And so maybe as we get older, our priority is to get more acquainted with our body, with our health, and with also our spiritual world. When we are very young, our priority is to discover the world. And then as a teenager, our priority is to discover ourselves in society with other people. And then as a young adult, our priority is about success. It's about fitting in society. It's about being seen. It's about our body as well. It's about sensual and bodily experiences and pleasure, perhaps, and experiment or experiences, adventures, whatever it is. And so each stage of our life, we are facing different priorities. And really, we should address all of them. But just the way we are designed, I think, it's how we are as humans. But as we get older, I believe that for many of us, reconnecting with our body through illness, as in trying to understand our body better and see what we can do to make it better, is one of those priorities, along with connecting with the divine or anything spiritual. I think as we get closer to the end of our life, we have more and more interest into finding out what may happen there. We may take it more seriously, more profoundly, because we're getting closer to it. And so, yes, I hope that you have the same mindset that I do when it comes to health, Lynn, and realize that because you have a problem doesn't mean that you're going down the hill. Your body is telling you that there are some things you must change about yourself. And all you get to do is to pay attention and learn and try different things until you find the right things that makes your life easier until your next signal from your body the next time you go and see the GP. Mick H, what's a good way to create energy? What do you mean create energy? A good way to create energy, you switch on the gas, and whoosh, you have some fire. That's energy. No, you switch on the heating, you've got heat, energy. Everything is energy. Energy is everything is some sort of energy. Everything in the world is made of atoms, and each atom is made of energy. And even the nucleus is energy that is vibrating at a different frequency. That's it. Everything is energy. This is energy, this is energy, this is energy. My words, my thoughts are also energies. They transform, they change, they mutate. And so I'm not sure that I understand what you mean by what's the good way to create energy. I want to understand, I think there's something behind it, but if you can maybe explain it in a better way, that'd be useful. What's a good way to create energy? Big Willie, I am Big Willie. Okay, hello, Big Willie. JT Valentine, hi, hello, JT Valentine. So again, for those who are new and just coming across the live accidentally, I talk about psychology, human behavior, mental health, therapy, mindset, and mindfulness. JT, can I ask you a question? And yes, everything is energy technically. Yes? Okay. So, let's see the question. Josiah, skipped the question above. Did I? I didn't skip anything, did I? I read everything. The last comment I saw from you, Josiah, was, does fasting help with emotional control and stability? And I answered that. And then you wished Lynn good recovery. And that's it. I don't have anything else, Josiah. I read everything. And if the comment are naughty, I would mention them if I don't want to read them. But I haven't seen anything from you, I'm afraid. Do you want to retype it again? Have you been censored by YouTube somehow? Lynn, I totally agree, Didi. Thank you. I lost my hearing in one ear just before my mom died in 2018. We don't know why, but this is a third operation, so fingers crossed, okay? My hearing remains intact for longer than 18 months. Okay, okay. So this was about your hearing, wasn't it? And it's getting better now, right? So good news, good on you. Happy for you. Hearing is very important. I'm discovering as well because I have tinnitus, and also I use also things to cover noise whenever I'm outside or even indoors. I'm at home now. Sometimes if I want to focus because of my ADHD. And I was reading about it. One when we start to lose sight and hearing, that's how we are more prone to develop dementia, and all sort of conditions like that, and depression as well, because we're disconnecting from the external world. We have less access to it. So yeah, something to be aware of. There is an extra reason to take extra care about our senses. And also, I've noticed myself, because my vision is changing, I've become more clumsy lately. I never was clumsy. I always prided myself as someone who's very agile, with a lot of dexterity, being able to catch things. And lately, I think it's because of my vision. I don't see things, I bump into things, I drop things, and I'm realizing that it's all to do because of my vision. So, just a thought. We don't realize what we have until we start to lose it momentarily, or we have less of it. JT Valentine, what do you think about the psychological technique where somebody insults you or says something that they probably didn't mean by reacting to impulse, and then you pretend you didn't hear by saying, "What did you say?" And then usually most people will say, "Oh, it's nothing," because we feel guilty or realize that we went too far. In short, it's a way to stay calm, make themselves correct, and avoid. Yes, it's a good thing to do. And avoid direct conflict while keeping control of the interaction. It's a good thing to do, absolutely. Here's how it goes. When people are saying things that are offensive to you, they do this because they want to get a reaction from you. And so we tend to react to the world automatically. This is what we do, most of us, most of the time. And so if someone says something and I react, now we are hooked. They get us, they control us. We're responding to them, they are manipulating us. And so they expect us to react when they say these things. But if you can actually have the ability not to react and just say, "What do you mean? What are you trying to achieve by saying this?" Now they're going to be taken by surprise. They're thinking, "Shoot, I was not prepared for that. I don't know what to say. I didn't get a reaction, so now they can see me." And then more often than not, it's a very good way indeed to get people to stop doing this. But not all of us can do this. It depends on our emotional state. It depends on if we are dealing with some baggage, if we have some inherent trauma. If we have trauma, if we have any conditions of any sort, if we suffer from depression and anxiety, we will be more reactive than people who don't. And so when people say, "Don't get offended, don't be such a snowflake," they're being very insensitive, because many of us, we don't choose to be offended. We don't choose to be triggered. Trauma gets people to be hyperreactive, hypervigilant, hypersensitive. And so a lot of people who get offended, they do that because they're scared, they feel that they are in danger. And so typically people are going to say, "Oh, don't be so offended." They're basically bullying them. It's very cruel, it's very unkind, it's very unhelpful. And they may probably not do it on purpose, but if we can realize this, then we can be kinder to people. We can realize, "I'm sorry, but I get you to feel like that. Do you want to talk about this? What did I say that get you to feel like that?" And that would be a better and kinder way to interact with others, and that we certainly changed a lot of relationships and a lot of people's lives as well. And so yes, to answer your question, yes, if we can say to people, and I do that sometime with my trolls online, when they put some silly comments, I put, "This is interesting. What are you trying to achieve with that comment?" And then I don't know, just want just to comment, and then they stop. But if I was going to say, "No, it's not true," then now they're going to counterattack, and then now it's ongoing. And if that person has some tendency of narcissism, they'll have a great time manipulating our reactions. But yes, JT Valentine, it's something that we should all apply. And it's not just in the context of when someone is trying to offend us. It's in the context of everything. If we can learn how to create a space between what people say to us and how we're going to respond to it, it's fantastic. Not everyone can. So a lot of people say, you shouldn't react emotionally, you should respond intellectually. And it's true that if we can, it's a great thing to be aware of. But many people, they just cannot because they have too much baggage. The very trauma, the very wounds that we have are creating a different filter that will give us a different reality. So we feel unsafe, we feel that we must react to protect ourselves. So yeah, Mick H, what's a good way to enter a meditation state? So there are tons of different meditation protocols. The good way to enter a meditation state is the one way that works for you. We're all different. It's for you to find out what works for you. We don't want to believe that meditation is like a brand, a bag of potato. I can choose the product, and that product is better than the other product. Which product do you think is superior? It's not like that. It's about finding the thing that works for you specifically. Right? And so when people ask me which type of meditation do you recommend, I always say the one that you can do, that is the one that is simple and easy and enjoyable for you to do. If it's difficult, if it's hard, if you need to do things and it doesn't make sense, if it's complicated, it's not for you. Take your time. It's a journey. There are tons of different meditations, and so the first thing you want to realize is, why do I want to meditate for? And based on why you want to meditate, we're going to find out what is the best selection of options for you to try and decide which one is best for you. So we can meditate first to relax ourselves. We can meditate to find some answers within us, to understand our past. We can meditate to practice gratitude, to feel better about ourselves. We can meditate to heal our body. We can meditate to manifest a future. Some people meditate to communicate with aliens or ghosts. It doesn't matter. There are tons of things that you can do with meditation. You can meditate to understand, to have a higher self of awareness and understanding of the world. You can meditate to address your anxiety or depression, all sorts of different things. And so why do you need to meditate? Why would you like to meditate? Why does it come into your life? What is it in meditation that you find interesting or that you need for? And then the next thing is really find something easy, as simple and easy as possible. When people are struggling with meditation, it's always because they are doing a type of meditation that is too difficult for them. They're not ready for that. And so don't do it. The most simple way to meditate, there are two of them that I can share. One is very simple. Just close your eyes and listen to some background noise. If you have an air conditioning, if you have some bulb that is going bzz, 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 if you have a fire crackling, if you have a chimney, or if you're in the city like me, listen to the sound of the street and just pay attention. It's a vibration, it's an energy, and just connect with that and just think about it like something relaxing. You're not trying to reach anything, you're not trying to do anything, you're just listening to that thing with your eyes closed. Just that. Just that is meditation. If you can do it for 5 minutes, fantastic. 10 minutes, even better. But we tend to put too much emphasis on meditation between being a holistic system that can magically change your things. And it does, but over time, over practice, and by understanding what meditation is in the first place. Another one that is very, very simple as well, and I love to do this myself, is going in nature. And you may sit down on a bench and look at a bunch of flowers, plants, trees, or even clouds, and create a frame in your mind. So you may be having a frame of some plants or the grass, and then just look at that and explore. Don't judge, don't think, just observe. And you may realize, I can see the flowers, I can see the plants, I can see the shadow between them, I can see the trees, I can see the leaves rustling because there's a little bit of wind, I can see some insect coming out from behind, and also I can smell the smell of it, I can feel the air, you can switch on all of the senses, I can hear a bee buzzing or some kids playing in the background because I'm in a public garden. So you just want to be present. And you want to be, you have that frame and you're experiencing that movie in your mind without thinking about it, just observing it and enjoying it. And just that's it. You can look at the sky if you don't have greens. You can look at the clouds. You can daydream, look at the clouds. But don't think about don't allow for your imagination to go all over the place and see some flying hippopotamus in the sky. Just see them for what they are and be in awe of this movement and those things and be present of that moment. Be present in this moment, I mean. Be aware of that moment. And that's a type of meditation that is very simple and easy and enjoyable. That's it. There are plenty of them. I like to also do some walking meditations, again, in the park. I go often to Russell Square. So if you come to London, come and see me. I'm there very often. And I walk. Sometimes I have music, sometimes I don't. And I just focus on my gait, I focus on my breath, and I focus on on what I see. So I look up and I see the trees, the clouds, and it's like a slideshow. I think it's called in movie, a slideshow, and it just goes on. But I'm the one moving. But I forget about it because it's automatic, and I'm nice and relaxed. I walk a bit like someone who's listening to reggae music. And I find it amazing. So I'm walking, I'm enjoying nature, and I'm meditating at the same time. And it's super simple, it's super easy, and I'm feeling amazing because I'm reconnecting with everything, with this moment, and with nature, and with walking. So yes, meditation state is a big word because you could think about meditative state like a brainwave state. Your brain functions and operates on different waves mode. And so when you're sleeping, your brain is on delta waves mode. And when you're awake, it's alpha or beta. And so there's a difference between alpha and beta. Beta is when you engage directly and interacting with the world outside. So when you're talking with someone, or when you're driving a car, you are in beta waves. You need to be alert, connected to outside. Alpha is when you are looking inward. And so being in alpha state would be kind of meditative state, right? And alpha is when you are looking inward, as in when you are seeking an idea, you're trying to remember something, you're looking for imagination, inspiration, you're looking inward, you are going into alpha brain waves mode. And so that would be the state. So how do we get into that state? By being relaxed and by looking inward, as opposed to beta. I'm the victim of my environment. Why are they staring at me? What are they thinking about me? Oh, I have social anxiety and all of those things. And so, yes. Does it help? Mickey. Lynn, yes, I recall you have tinnitus. It's very overwhelming, isn't it? I'm only 58, hopefully no dementia yet, lol. If you use your mind in a productive and stimulating way, you should never have dementia. But also you want to work on your own emotional wounds. I believe that one of the aspects of dementia is when we have repressed some of our emotions and selves for so long, we have created the dissociation, and eventually the dissociation takes over and we forget everything. And so reconnect with your memory, reconnect with your past, heal your traumas, heal your wounds, but also do things that stimulate your brain. Be creative, do things that excite you, that makes you happy. Listen to music, dance, paint, whatever, draw, create projects, learn things, learn new language, learn new skills, things that you enjoy. Do some quiz show, challenge yourself, expand your mind in the things that you enjoy. And if you address your emotional wounds and you expand your mind, you should never have dementia. I believe that dementia is connected with a lot of repressed emotion, regret, but also shame, guilt. JT Valentine, what one piece of wisdom that you would give to us? I've got tons of them. So it depends, I don't know. I do get a lot of those questions where there was the one thing or the three favorite thing, and my mind find it difficult because there are so many, but I need to learn how to answer your questions and understand where you're coming from. And so if I was going to give you one piece of wisdom, wisdom is relative to something, so I need to know you a little bit, to know what would be best for you. My mind is blank at this moment. I don't know. I want to come up with something. What is one universal piece of wisdom? I can. We're all the same. We're all the same. We're all doing our best. We're all doing the best with what we have been given. And we're all trying to make sense of this world. And we're all doing our best every day, and we all believe that we're doing the right thing. And so, if we can expand our perspective and realize that we're all like that, we would actually be more wise. If we can understand that it's not me against the others, we're all doing our best, and we're all the victim of our upbringing and environment and childhood. And so people are just people, and they evolve in whichever way life has get them to evolve. That will allow us to see them through the lenses of compassion. We can see the person as opposed to the limiting belief, the fear, the education, and the behavior. And that gives us a chance to connect with them instead of seeing them as the enemy, as the others. So that could be good wisdom to have, I think. Right? Empathy, compassion, starting with self-compassion. Yeah, I don't know. Does it help? So, something else that I could say. Someone asked me the other day, and I've been asked that many times, what is the one sentence that you would like to tell yourself, your younger self? And my thing that I would say to my younger self is this, in 3 words: it gets better. So basically, if you can trust the process, then things get better. You know what? The more I'm listening to myself, the more I think that whatever I say is ridiculous and sounds weird. Again, because I'm trying to come up with something that is universally wise, and there's no such thing. So I'm going to skip that question for now, but if you tell me more about yourself, I would love to give you some more, but just that my mind doesn't understand and can't process what is the one best thing, because there's no such thing as one. Everything is contextual. Everything is relative to something else. So maybe that could be the wisdom. Everything is relative. Everything is contextual. Everything exists within a frame of context. And so nothing is something for what it is. I don't know if it can help. And so, for instance, no one knows if they're on their own on a desert island, whereas they are tall or short, because there's nothing to compare with. And so what it means is that whenever we're comparing ourselves and looking at ourselves in a certain way, if we want to change this, all we have to do is to change the position of the observer. And that applies for everything. And those are the premises of healing and growth as well. To change anything about our life and our reality, all we have to do is to change how we look at it, is to change our position as the observer. Nothing is what it is. Things is what it is based on our perspective. And so if you want to look at it, to see and experience something better, we just need to change angle and perspective. That's it. I hope it makes sense. And so the wisdom would be in a phrase borrowed by Wayne Dyer. He's got a book. Where is it? I don't know where it is. If you want to, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is how we change our reality. We can't change the things from where we are, but we can change the way we look at it. Because if we look at it from a different perspective, now we need to feel different. And if we feel different about the situation, now we're going to have a different behavior in regards to that. And our behavior is going to shape a new reality for us. JT, by the way, very pretty tattoos. Thank you very much, JT. Jamie Harman said hi. Hello, Jamie. Icy Curd, what is the likelihood that AI will replicate therapists? It's not gonna. Some people will use it, but it's not gonna, because AI, I think people are kind of overrating AI. AI is a computer, but it's going to gather all the information that exists online and come up with something. And there are 2 things about AI for therapy that are very contradictory. Number 1, whatever we know about the human mind has only been substantial in the last 25 years. Everything else is rubbish, dangerous, toxic, harmful. And so in the vast array of information out there, a lot of it's actually not good. So even just based on that, AI doesn't get it right. I often use AI to find out about stuff and to find out what AI thinks about it in terms of mental health and therapy, and they get it wrong. So that's one thing. And number two, when it comes to therapy, since the knowledge we have about the human mind is relatively recent, it means that a lot of therapists, it means a therapist comes in also on all sizes and shapes. So even with human therapists, to find a good therapist, you have to look for it. A lot of therapists are not very good. We're all limited by our humanity. So we all have our own personal baggage and agenda. And because of that, a lot of human therapists are not necessarily very good. Some are actually bad, right? Some are good. And then we must realize that even in the bunch of those who are good, the only ones that are good for you are the ones that are good for you. So you need to find your therapist. You need to find someone who speaks your language, who understands your point of view, who has been through what you've been through, who has come out of it, and comes from a good place and wants to help you. So there are a lot of requirements that are human requirements that the machine doesn't get. And so this will never happen. And finally, the third thing that I would add about it is that when it comes to therapy, the most important element of therapy is that the therapist understands at an emotional level the experience. And machines have no emotions, so they can never. They may have some concept, some intellectual concept about something, but if you don't feel something, you can't explore the depth of the human mind and the human experience itself. So there you go. So because of that, I don't doubt that people will come up with apps and AI stuff that will be used as if it was a therapist. But whether they're going to be useful and efficient or good is a whole different subject altogether. And I don't believe that it's going to be the case. Some people may find enough for them if they don't suffer from anything too grave, if I can help them and change their life. Absolutely, we can do this. But it's hard enough to find a good therapist within humans to expect for a robot to do it better. Because the robot hasn't got all those things that, it hasn't got the human potential. It can't feel emotions. It doesn't have the depth of thoughts as a human. It's all very analytical and superficial. And so what makes a good therapist also is who they are as a person, the life they've been through, everything about themselves. Everything that we are is reflected in our profession. Right? It's not just the skills that we have in regards to that thing. The personality, the character of someone is literally super important when it comes to therapy. And so, yeah. So I don't believe, I believe that everything is going to be AI at some point, but I don't believe that it's going to be replacing therapists, because there will always be people who understand that human therapists, the good ones, can never be replaced. It's like art. Some people say, yeah, machines are going to create songs and create art, but again, it's just computerized. It's just numbers. It's predictable. It's mathematic. It's not art. It's missing the most essential part of it, which is your humanity. What makes a human a human? Their own experience is going to be influencing their art directly. And so, yeah. I love technology. I love AI, but I don't believe that. I believe that a lot of things. I believe that a lot of people should not freak out and worry about what they do. If you love what you do, if you're good at what you do, all you need to do is to keep updated and learn how to use new tools yourself. But I don't believe that technology should change much about our life if we have the right mindset. I hope it makes sense. JT Valentine, learning how to separate yourself from the situation to make sure you are deciding what to do and not reacting to impulse is key to navigating conversation in life. Yes, it's true. But then again, not everyone can do this. Neurotypical, who are not overrun by life, who have an easy life, who are lucky, yes, they can learn how to do that. But for the vast majority of people, we have so much problems, so much baggage, so many wounds that are invisible, that no one knows about. And that makes it impossible to make this happen just like that. But We can all find a way to let go of whatever's holding us, and at some point, we may be able then to develop that skill over time. I'm saying this because I don't want people to believe that some people are not trying hard enough, or they're lazy, or they're choosing to be negative. No one is choosing to have a victim mindset. No one is choosing to suffer from a condition. We just do what we can based on our emotional state and our limiting belief. So, yeah, empathy, compassion, etc. Josiah, for people choosing not to pursue relationships, which do you think is more harmful for mental health when seeking personal satisfaction, casual encounters or self-relief? Everyone is different, and every moment is different. And so do whatever you can do in this moment, and know that you change all the time. It's not like I'm going to be alone alone all my life. I'm going to always either have casual encounter or self-relief. Do whatever you can do, learn about yourself, work on yourself, and you will evolve and change, and your situation will also evolve and change accordingly, right? There's no one thing that works for everyone. We're all different. Something can be good or harmful to people depending on the time and where they are in their journey. So there's nothing that is universally good or bad, and something that is bad could be good for you momentarily, and vice versa, right? And so just listen to your body. Don't overthink it. Do what you can do. Do what is easiest, what comes more naturally to you at this point in time, but also work on your baggage. When you say, I'm choosing not to pursue relationships, also, this is not fixed. This is what you believe now. We've all been there, and some people are there for a long time. I'm choosing not to. But then, even though I know so many people, I never want to be with anyone anymore. And then suddenly, bang, they meet someone, bang, and they change. And they're in love again, and then they discover something else. It's a matter of readiness, mental and emotional readiness. So a lot of things happen in our mind, and we change mental state as well all the time. And so what you are thinking in this moment is true. I don't want to be in relationships ever anymore. It's much easier for me. It was too hard the last time, or something like that. But this is what you're believing now. In the now, it's true. That certainty, that forever, that promise is true. But it's only true now. We don't know about tomorrow, after tomorrow, in a month, in a year. We don't know. No one knows. We don't. And so realize this. So what you want to do is to do your best to enjoy whatever system that works best for you at this point in time, and work on your baggage. That'll be my advice. But remind yourself that nothing is definite. The whole point of life is that nothing is definite. You need to experience the full of the human emotional spectrum. And so a part of it is to believe that something is going to be forever yes or forever no. It's part of it. But even that experience is only ephemeral, just like everything else in our life. Does it help, Josiah? Harry Naz, what's the point of anything? It depends what you it depends the perspective you look at it from. If someone is depressed, if someone has been let down a lot, if someone is coming from a cynical place, there's no point to anything. And it is the truth. But if you can look at it from a different perspective, you may realize that there are different truths. My watch is telling me to put my last TikTok post out today, so I'm going to do it straight away. Just bear with me, please. If I don't do it, I just forget because of my ADHD. Okay.
Thanks to people like Charlie.
Okay. Sorry about that. So, the point of anything, it depends on your perspective. And so what we want to do is to shift our perspective in ways that we feel better about ourselves, that we can make more of our human experience. So the way that I look at it myself, the way that I would suggest you to explore, is to realize that we come into this life to experience a human experience. That's it. That's the point. That's the purpose. That's the mission. That's the meaning of it. When we think about meaning, we're looking at it from the position of the ego, the human being. What is the, based on everything that we know, philosophical thoughts, what is the point? What is the meaning? And now we're confused because there's a lot of different perspectives, different people, different school of thoughts. And so now we're all over the place. And more often than not, it clashes with our experience of life. So we're going to think there's no point, it's just rubbish. But if we can zoom out and not think from the human perspective, Think about yourself like an eternal being, a spirit. You're coming here into this life, into that dimension. What for? To experience what it is to be you. To find out what it is to be Harry's Naz. To find out what it is to be a human being. To find out what it is to be joyful, but also to be hurt, to be angry, to be depressed, to be desperate and helpless, but also to feel amazing when you win, when you're feeling love, when you're having success. All of us are part of the experience. And so the whole point of this is to experience a human experience. Whatever belief you have, whatever you believe is important to you or not, it's all part of your experience. And all experiences are valid. That's what I suggest people to explore in terms of belief that would enhance the quality of life. Because everything is a belief, ultimately. The reality that we have created for ourselves is down to the belief that we have inherited from our childhood. So if we can realize this, we can change our reality by upgrading some belief that don't serve our purpose. Thank you for the little emojis. Whatever. XWAR. So I'm going to read that comment because I want to make something out of it. But it's a very offensive comment. It's a body shaming comment. So the guy called XWAR goes, "Where's this dude's eyebrows?" And this is something that we do because we live in a culture and society that is very cruel. So we like to highlight the difference and to mock people who look different. And this is very unkind. Please stop this, otherwise I'll have to block you. And I'm sure that you don't care. I don't care either, but this is what will happen. Because what you're doing is discriminating. You're bullying a stranger online. It's not affecting me because I'm grown up. I've been through all those things in the past, so I have a good relationship with that now. But what you're doing is very nasty. It's terribly nasty and unkind. But I also understand that if you do this, it's because you come from a place of hurt. I was the same for a long time. I suffered from my own anger, repressed shame, projections, and I used to be a horror to people. I had to put everyone down all the time. Why are you so stupid? Why is she so fat? Why are you so ugly? Da, da, da. And this is what we do because everyone does, and it seems like something normal. But it's very unkind to others, and it also reflects a lot of hurt and unheard baggage. And so I'm going to forgive you for this time, and if you need some help, I'm more than happy to help you. I genuinely mean that. I understand what it means to feel the need to be horrible to others. It's funny, because it kind of relieves us from our own frustration. We have some repressed frustration, and online it's easy. No one knows us, so it's like free. How do you say free for all? Something like that in English. I'm not sure. And so, XWAR, please don't do it. I'm creating this space to try to help people, so please be kind. And if you want some help, I would love to do that for you. But if you continue, we're not going to be friends, okay? XWAR, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to forget those 3 comments and see if you're still there or not. You may have gone anyway, but then a lot of time, trolls just disappear after a while. Josiah, nihilism is no one's friend at Harry's Naz. I remember we had that chat in the past, didn't we, Josiah? XWAR, should we leave the things that don't make us happy? So now you're asking me a serious question. I will answer it. Should we leave the things that don't make us happy? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We create misery in our life because we allow it in our life. We don't realize that more often than not, there are exceptions, but more often than not, we have a choice. We can choose not to allow misery, bad people, bad situation to occur. We can take action, take decisions, say things that will change those things. But the reason why we suffer misery is because we allow it. It's because we believe that this is our normality. This is what I deserve. This is what I always had. And so I don't see why things are going to change. And so we not only accept and allow, but we even invite the bad stuff because it feels familiar. Our body recognizes and is attracted by anything that feels familiar. And so, for instance, you were being horrible to me just before, body shaming me. And so you did that because to you it was your familiar. And that's probably because your parents did that to you, or your big brother, big sisters, or bullies, people at school. So people have taught you how to behave like that. And now you do it automatically because that's the only way you know how to behave. And I used to be the same. It's very important for me to highlight this. But you don't have to. Because people have been cruel to you doesn't mean that you have to be cruel to others either. You can be better than them. You can learn. You can stop the bad habit, the tradition of cruelty. You can learn to be a kinder person, just like I have learned. I used to be horrible to people. I used to create havoc, like fight, destruction, emotional blackmail, horrible. Like, this is my conditions. For 38 years of my life, I ruined every single relationships that I had, and I was a horror to strangers as well. And then I realized I'm doing this out of habit because I suffered from that from other people when I was younger. But I can stop. I don't need to repeat my past over and over again and keep suffering from it. And neither do you. And so, ex-war, should we leave the things that don't make us happy? Yes, including the habits of how we treat others, how we speak to them, how we behave with them. We can absolutely leave those habits if they don't make us happy. Lynn at ex-war, where's your manners? If you can't be kind, stay silent. Thank you, Lynn. It's okay. Ex-war, should I apply? No, ex-war, you don't talk to that to Lynn. She's right, and you know that she's right. Lynn, I truly believe that concept, Didi. My dad died at 93 and only got dementia symptoms a couple of months beforehand. My mum, unfortunately, got vascular dementia for a few years before she died. I'm sorry to hear that. But yes. If you have some repressed emotions, then it's going to really potentially affect our health. And I can really see the connection. And there's a lot of people who are connecting these dots also when it comes to dementia. Ver. Hi, Didi Khan. Hello, Ver. Please call me Didi. Didi is my first name. Khan is my last name. Ver. In view of what you have just said, can a narcissist ever listen? Yes, of course. It depends on what state they are. They can. Will they? It's a different conversation. There are many factors that needs to come into play for a narcissist to listen and to realize that narcissism. People don't realize that narcissism is a condition, and just like with any condition, some people are aware of the condition and some people are not. Now, it's true that because of the nature of NPD, when you have NPD, you are protecting yourself from everyone else. You believe that you're better, and there's something wrong about you, and so it makes it more difficult to realize. But some narcissists are aware of this, and some narcissists are working on themselves. It is possible. So we want to stop demonizing all narcissists and put them all in the same bag, because first, they suffer from the condition, first and foremost. They hurt others a lot because of the way they need to protect themselves come at the expense of others. But they suffer from that. Narcissists are the most insecure people in the world. They hate themselves. And so that's why they're trying to control people and getting flattery from everyone to try to convince their own selves that they matter, that they're important, that they deserve love. But yes, some narcissists can have some self-awareness. I have met some, and I also follow some on TikTok and social media. We're starting to understand more about narcissism and realize that they are also people. No one chooses what they are. We don't choose. I didn't choose to have ADHD or borderline personality disorder or CPTSD. I didn't choose any of those things. No one chooses to be autistic. No one chooses to have a difficult childhood. No one chooses to have some neurodevelopmental disorders or whatever they may be. We don't choose anything at all. And so people don't choose to be narcissistic, to be sociopath, to be psychopath. People don't choose not to have empathy if they can't have it. Some people don't have that ability. We are which we are because of whatever happened to us in childhood. And so we must really realize this. It doesn't mean that we don't want to set boundaries and protect ourselves or get the law to punish people who are doing things that are unlawful. But if we can look at people through the lenses of understanding, now, not only we can feel better about ourselves, because it's not as if some people are good or bad. We understand their journey, so we can look at them through the eyes of compassion, and we may be able to not only rehabilitate some, help them change, heal them, but also create a better society for all the future generations. Mick H. How do you retain and access so much information on many subjects? That's what I do. I don't know everything. I know that because I'm obsessed. I have ADHD, so I can hyper-focus on things that I love. And so I am obsessed, and I think about, and I read about, and I talk about things to do with the mind, psychology, and spirituality every day, all the time. I'm literally obsessed. I write books, I write contents, I look after my clients all week long. Every single person that I meet, I always talk about those things. I am obsessed. And because of that, and because I've been doing it for many years now, that's how we're going to play it. And this is going to be ongoing all my life. But this is for everyone who are into whatever they are doing. If someone is obsessed with painting or whatever, and they do it after a long period of time, they're going to be exceptionally good. And for people who don't paint, they're going to be, gosh, how can you do this? Because they love it, and because they do it all the time, because they're obsessed. That's it. Some people are obsessed with cooking, a fantastic chef, and so on and so forth. Whatever that we do, people who are good at something, who are excellent at things, is because they love that thing, they have that ability to obsess over that thing. And so when we are obsessed, we are working over hours. I'm dreaming about it. When I'm not working, I take some breaks. Sometimes I watch some television. I practice meditation. I do things that give me a break from those thoughts deliberately. Because if I didn't, it would be there. Right? But other than that, as I spend so much more hours every day, every week, every month, every year on those topics than anyone else, because it's something that I love, because it's something that I'm obsessed with. So that's how we become very, very good at what we do, by choosing something that we love and going for it full on, like I'm doing, right? But having said that, I'm good at that, but I'm terrible at a lot of other things, because all the time and the energy and the focus that I use doing those things, I am not using for other things. So there's a lot of things in life that I'm totally rubbish, and it's absolutely normal. It's just, it's right? If I'm excellent at something, I'm going to be super shit at some other things because I'm focusing so much of my energy in that thing, but nothing else. Right? And so my brain is very specialized, essentially. And this is very often what happens with a neurodivergent brain. We have a special interest, and we are very good at those things. And I'm lucky enough that my special interest is something that is to do with my career and can help me make a living off, but also help people. So yes, thank you for the compliment. It's kind. It's kind of you to say, but it's just the natural consequence of me being lucky enough to have created a lifestyle around my obsession and my passion. Thank you, Mikhail. One, Kelly Good evening, Didi, and all in chat. Hello, Kelly I hope all is well with everyone. Thank you. Same to you. Kelly please like this stream chat. Thank you. Sorulia, hi Didi, hope you are doing well. Thank you, Sorulia. I'm doing well indeed. Thank you. I hope you do as well. Kelly Didi, do you believe in the monad theory? I don't know what is the monad theory. Let's find out. Monad theory. It's okay. What does it say? Monad theory can refer to different concepts depending on the field. In Leibniz philosophy, it is the idea of simple, indivisible, and windowless substances that compose the universe, which God created in pre-established harmony. I'm not sure what to make of this, because there's an aspect of God and philosophy. So my perspective of the universe is very, very kind of thought through. I can change it. Everything evolves and changes. But the way that I see it is that the universe, the way that speaks the best to me is to look at the universe like energy. So we could create some parallels between the monad theory, the invisible and windowless substance that compose the universe. That could be the atoms. And when people say God is the universe, is the energy of creation and movement and life. And so I could see how people have created a system that could maybe sort of paraphrase, show a different angle of the same perspective that I have of the universe. Physical objects are not made of parts, but are phenomena or complex appearances of collections of monads. Yes, so yes, atoms. So I wouldn't post that because I haven't read it, and all of those concepts, school of thoughts, they have a narrative that you need to understand to really fully get what they mean. So we not particularly endorse that, but I can understand where they're coming from, and I have no problem with that, just based on what I've read in the last 5 minutes. Is it something that you endorse yourself, the monad theory? I'm reading up on this for some mathematical resonance. So yeah, I'm going to say I don't know, because it seems quite full on, and I probably don't have the time to read up about this. But you know what? Good on you. Do you want to share with us what you find interesting about the monad theory? That could be a better way to approach it, perhaps. Petr Guzik, hello. Pumpkin Puff, hi Didi, how are you today? I'm very well, thank you so much. How about you? Petr, God bless you, man, very inspirational. Thank you so much. Pumpkin Puff said hi, hello again. Petr, I think every one of us suffer at some level. It doesn't matter who you are, who you poses, rich, good looking, we really just suffer. So I'm going to agree with you, but I'm going to rephrase this in a better way, because it's quite dark. Everyone suffers. We all suffer. And it's true that there is suffering in the life, but we don't all always suffer, right? And so what I would say is that we all go through life, and we all have ups and downs, and we all have joy, happiness, but also suffering, pain, despair. All those things are part of our human experience. So in that sense, I do agree with you, yes. But I don't want to just say that we all suffer, because this is how Buddhism is misinterpreted. People read life is suffering and we believe, oh gosh, Buddhist, they're not very fun, those guys, are they? and it's not meant to say this. It's not meant, oh, your life is going to be hell and there's nothing you can do about it. It's more about accepting that there is suffering. But since with Buddhism we also understand that each moment is different and brings another opportunity, then suffering is an option and something that may exist in this moment, but it doesn't have to last. Nothing lasts forever. And so suffering doesn't last. Joy, happiness doesn't last either. Nothing does. And that's the whole point of our human experience, is to realize that all of these things happening, and we must learn how to embrace the good and let go of the bad, knowing that there's always another moment, bringing new opportunities, one moment at a time. Lynn at Calibano, good evening to you too. Hope you're doing good today. Very, thank you, Didi. Thank you, very. Board is sexy. Hi, sir. Hello, board is sexy. Petr, sorry guys, didn't mean to go dog. It's okay, I'm just saying. Pumpkin Puff. Sorry, I said hi twice. YouTube gives the option to say hi, but I'd like to also ask how people are. It's okay. So basically, I had a hi from you, and one from YouTube on behalf of you. So hi, thank you, and it's all good. Let me have some coffee a little bit. But Petra, I understand. You know, again, a lot of people, when they quote Buddhist text or principles, they would go, life is suffering, and it's really not meant to be coming across as such. It's just accepting that there is suffering, and we must embrace it. And it's a very good analogy for therapy and psychology in regards to our emotions. We must accept that there is all sorts of emotions, and we must embrace all of them. The reason why most people suffer from any mental and emotional conditions is because of a very poor relationship with their emotions. And so we must accept pain. If I feel pain, it's okay. It's here. But it's going to go at some point. But if we're avoiding pain, I never want to have pain, now we're creating problems. We're creating fear. We're creating paranoia. We're creating heightened, constant state of hyper alertness and vigilance. And this is not going to help us with our happiness and our health. Pumpkin Puff, nice to see you again. I'm hoping to have a fulfilling day and bake some pumpkin bread. Fantastic, that sounds great. I don't know what it tastes like. I mean, I'm sure pumpkin bread, pumpkin, but that sounds amazing. Pumpkin puff. We talked last time about needing to treat baking as a ritual and enjoying all of it. Okay, yes. So that was utilizing mindfulness in the context of baking. Yes, so thank you for remembering it. And I hope that you'll be applying this with your pumpkin bake today. Mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness makes everything more interesting. So we can take the most simple and humble things and elevate them into a celebration and art, something special. And there's a let me type it. I talk about it a lot. Ceremony of the tea in Japan. So I'm trying to find out about the steps. Just bear with me, please. So there's something called the ceremony of the tea in Japan, and this is essentially an opportunity to really demonstrate the art of mindfulness. And basically, it's just having a cup of tea. But the way they're doing it is quite special. So I just typed it. I never read it, but there's a whole list on AI on Google, step by step. First, there's invitation and arrival. Then there's the purification of the tools. And then there's the preparation of the bowl. And then there's the whisking of the tea. And then there's the serving the tea. So there's a lot of different movements. It's quite precise. And then there's the drinking of the tea. And then there's the departure. And all of those just for a cup of tea. But this is the beauty of mindfulness. Now that has become a ritual, a ceremony, a party, something to remember, something to enjoy, something to appreciate. It's not just a cup of tea. And it's the same thing with everything else. With your pumpkin cakes or whatever that we do, if you can elevate those little mundane tasks and turn them into something exceptional. Now, each of our little moments are exceptional. And we can enjoy everything. We can do it every day, all throughout our day. And now each day is going to sound, to feel, to seem like eternity. And this is how we live more life. We're more aware of the present, more aware of now, more aware of what we do. And we have more life experiences, as opposed to dreaming and imagining a life that exists in the future or in the past or both. And we're never here, and we're never enjoying the things. I was talking about it just before. We squander all those little moments because we are only fixated on the big moments, right? I'm looking forward to that big day, my exams, my interview, the day I'm going to compete, my wedding, Christmas. And so because we are just fixated on the future, all those days before, we are just wasting them. When every little steps, we can do all those things like the celebration of the tea, ceremony of the tea. We can create a ceremony when we're brushing our teeth. We can create a ritual when we're washing the dishes. When we're getting dressed up in the morning, whatever that we're doing, we can elevate everything into an art, into something exceptional, extraordinary. And this is how we turn ordinary into extraordinary through the practice of mindfulness. We're aware. We have all of our senses switched on. We're paying attention to everything. And here's an aspect that a lot of people don't think about. When we are on our deathbed, some people say that we have a lot of flashbacks about our life. And so if we've been living in the past and the future, it means that we're very rarely present. And so the flashback we're going to have are going to be very limited. I was born, I was a baby, I remember the first time I rode a bicycle, I remember the first time I had a fag and someone kissed me on the cheek, and then I met that person, I get married, I have kids, and now I'm dead. That's it. Maybe I remember a few times I went on a holiday or something special, I met my idol, and that's it, nothing else. But if you've been mindful and milking each little moment, now we can remember everything. It's a saga. It's a Lord of the Ring triple trilogy with flashbacks. I'm remembering those thousands of sunsets and sunrises that I've watched. I'm remembering those thousands and millions of cups of coffees that I enjoyed. Those thousands of moments where I was just enjoying being on a bench, looking at the sky, looking at a tree, enjoying myself, this moment. There are tons of stuff, and this is the human experience in its full glory and full potential. So there you go. That's something about mindfulness to think about. Pumpkin puff. Thank you for the little emoji, heart emojis. If you like flavored bread and pumpkin, I recommend it. It's very popular during fall. Okay. So I guess you are from America because you're saying fall. In the UK, we call it autumn. But also pumpkin. Also, I can picture pumpkin bread made from some places in America. With the Halloween pumpkin lanterns as well. If I see one day, I will think about you and I will buy it. I'll get it. I don't bake, but and also I don't eat much bread. To be honest with you, but I like the idea of it. And so if I come across some pumpkin bread, I will definitely give it a try. Petr, what is your point of view of today's world? Do you believe we are in spiritual war? I don't believe. How can I say this? There's always been a spiritual war. There's always been war. There's always been clashes, division, conflict. It's part of the human experience, and I believe that whatever is happening in the world doesn't matter. We coming at that time in that dimension to experience our life, and this is part of our experience. So we must accept that this is it. I could have come in other times, other places. I could have decided to come to be born in Africa, or to be born in the Middle Age, or to be born on another planet. But we're here, we're now, and this is it. This is the world, this is reality. So we don't need to compare it or judge it. We want to do the best we can with what we have. That's my philosophy about this. And so, is there a spiritual war? There's always been a spiritual war. If you think about religions and spirituality and schools of thoughts, everyone has been precisely utilizing religion to fight other people, to try to conquer them and get their lands and get their stuff. It's the history of humanity since the dawn of it. And so I don't believe that there's anything different now. It's always been like that. There is evolution, however, in many fields that could also eventually get our spiritual perspective to also evolve. And so thanks to technology, now we have much more information. And thanks to that, there's more people who are going through their own spiritual awakening journey. In the past, there was no such information. There was no such choices of tribes and communities to join. Now there are plenty. And so that allows for more people to open their mind. And I like to believe that at some point, it's possible that we're on the same wavelength. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what is going to make this happen. But I like to believe that we are at the dawn of our evolution as a species anyway. Right? We like to think of ourselves like very mighty. But if you think about humanity in the context of planet Earth, we've been here for that. I think if we're considering, I can't remember the numbers, but if we consider how long we've been in relation to Earth over the course of 1 year, we've been here for 5 seconds or something like that. So things have been going very quickly at an expressional level, but not far ago we don't have an iPhone. Not far ago we don't have electricity. Not far ago we don't have wheels of fire. Not far ago, it's really been exponential. And so what we need to overcome, which is the spiritual divide that there is still now, may happen just like that. Thanks to, I don't know, some things connected with technology, allowing us to expand our perspective. And so I believe it's possible. And it's also something that I'm working on. All the things that I do when the book that I'm working on, that I'm writing about, is not just about psychology. It's also about spirituality. And it's to get people to understand psychology so that they can expand their spirituality. Because we need to realize that when it comes to spirituality, belief are just belief. They're not facts. And so we can choose whatever belief work for us. But a lot of people don't realize this. So they inherit from the belief of their parents and the community. And amongst this collection of belief is division. This is the only truth. The others are wrong and we must destroy the others. So that's part of the belief system. And this is what we want to change. We want to realize that belief are just belief. And so it's okay for anyone to believe anything that they want. As long as you're not trying to force me to believe your belief, we're good to go. And this is precisely what I preach. I believe in everything. I believe in all the gods, all the creatures in the sky, and all the nothingness or whatever. It doesn't matter. I believe and accept everything. But most importantly, I accept that everyone is free to believe what they want, and for them it is true. I may not want to share that belief, but I'm happy to consider it and to accept it and to not laugh at it, not to mock it, not to try to change it either. And if we could do that, we would absolutely then step up to the next level of our evolution as a species. Does that answer your question, Petra? Pumpkin Puff. It's very easy for me to feel overwhelmed by needing to do so much, but since we talked, I've been focusing more on single steps at a time. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Pumpkin. Yes, baby steps. Again, the whole topic of the last whatever time I've been speaking was about mindfulness, being present and making the most of that moment. And if you can do that now, you can realize that you can do so much each moment. And whatever what you do in the moment is always enough. So even if you have some big goals in mind, it doesn't matter. What matters is the step that you are in this moment, and that's it. And if you just focus on the step, on the moment, on the now, one now after each now, then before you know it, you get to those things. You will get there eventually, but you don't need to think about it. You don't need to anticipate it. You don't need to be impatient. Things happen as a result of what you do anyway. So just focus on the doing. Let go of the outcome. It doesn't matter. And then when it's meant to happen, it will happen, and you'll be satisfied. Because if you've been mindful every step of the way, not only it was easier for you to do these things, but you also enjoyed it. And this is what life is about. Life is not about creating a collection of trophies and medals and achievements and boxed crossed. It's about the enjoyment of the journey. It's about the enjoyment of the little moments. It's about the enjoyment of us growing, evolving, becoming better at being a human being. It's never about the things. It's never about the destination. It's just about us becoming more and more. It's experiencing expansion through our human experience. That's it. Lynn, I have watched the tea ceremony on different shows and found it very calming and grounding. I feel it reminds us to appreciate the moment and the importance of connection. Yes, so this is it. It's mindfulness. It's literally that. It's one of the many ways to teach and practice mindfulness on a daily habit without thinking about it. It becomes a lifestyle. In the East, but also particularly in Japan, there were strong emphasis on that in their very lifestyle. So there was also different things, but if you look at Japanese architecture, it's very minimalist. There's very little, and many of them are going more in that direction, and so many of them will talk about how they have chosen to have a very neutral house, and they're going to have only 3 shirts and 2 forks. Something like that, because that's all they need. They don't need more. It's very precise. They know exactly what they need to make it as simple as possible, so they don't need to be overwhelmed by nonsense. So they can just be there and contemplate now. Kevin, it's fucked up, bro. What is fucked up? You're talking about the world. I bet you're talking about the world. And I understand that. It's true that if we look at the world, and if we have a disempowered mindset, and we're looking for the bad stuff, we'll find tons of shit stuff, fucked up things everywhere in the world. Absolutely. But if we look for the good stuff, you'll be surprised. You'll find just as many, if not more, good things. If you learn how to become better at looking for the good things. I look at the state of the world, and I too, sometimes I'm overwhelmed with sadness and with anger and with frustration. I look at what is happening to Palestine since it started more than 2 years ago to that level. And it's breaking my heart, and it's getting me to get very angry. I look at how the government, the BBC, the press, everyone is being brainwashed and keep on trying to brainwash everyone else, and it's really infuriating. However, I can also see everyone fighting against it, and that makes me happy. That fills my heart with hope. I see all those good people who are taking risk, who are speaking out their truth, who are still pushing for the truth to come out. And for me, this is where I want to focus my attention on. Are there casualties? Are there horrors? Yes, of course. And it's horribly sad and heartbreaking. But I don't want to focus on that, because if I focus just on that, I'm just going to feel depressed, I'm going to feel angry, and it's not going to help anyone. But if I focus on what I can do, and if I could focus on the people who are trying to do something about it, now I'm feeling better. And so, there you go. And it's not just Palestine, you know, the state of America, it's the state of the UK, so many things happening, and it's all the same. You can look at the bad things happening, or you can look at the people that are trying to change it. And that's the beauty behind it. Petra, people have great potential, but we always get lost somehow. It's not that we always get lost. Some people do, some people don't. So it depends, and people change as well. We're here to experience our journey, so we may start our life in a certain way, we may change and eventually join the gangs of those who are more positive and uplifting in this world, like me. I used to be a terrible human being, and I changed. And now I like to believe that I belong to the ones who are trying to heal this world based on what I've been through myself. Thanks to that, precisely. And so it's not just, we don't want to just feel deflated. And I know that it's very easy to feel helpless and overwhelmed. But it's not like that. Again, if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. So you can focus on hope, or you can focus on helplessness. Whatever you choose is going to create your reality. Pumpkin Puff, random question. What is your favorite season of the year? It used to be summer, and then it used to be spring, and then it used to be fall and winter, and it changes, and now it's all of them. I think because I live in the UK, I would prefer summer because there's less of it. On the calendar, it's the same, but as feelings, there's less because there's less sun. There's more wet, humidity, grey, cold. But I love rain. I love the smell of petrichor. I really absolutely love it. I find it calming, and I love the rain because it's cleaning the city. Like it's been raining the last few days quite a lot in London. I love winter. I love the snow. I love autumn. I love I love everything. Now I can appreciate everything. Now I can appreciate that everything is a cycle. If anything, I would love to maybe spend a bit more time in places that are warm. So I've not been able to do that for a long time, but hopefully at some point when my financial situation gets better, I may be able to go more on holidays in warm places, and that would do the trick. Right? I'm happy to live in London. I love the seasons, the smells, the vegetation, the weather here. I'm very used to it. I've been here for 28 years here now. But maybe in the future, I would like to invest more, focus more on organizing and prioritizing traveling and going to places that are a bit hotter once or twice a year, and that would do it. But I do appreciate all seasons. And also, as we get older, we don't experience seasons the same way as we were younger. I mean, I'm talking for myself. I don't know. Everyone is different. It doesn't mean anything getting older. I should say, as I am getting older, I'm realizing that we are in a season, and before we know it, we're in the next, and before we know it, we are back in that one. Things are very different. When I was younger, I was like, gosh, summer lasted forever. It was hot, and then it was the autumn, and then it was winter, and then it was spring, but now it seems like one moment I'm in the winter, the next moment I'm suffocating in summer, the next moment I'm back in winter or spring or whatever. It goes like that. It's like, wow, because we don't have the same perception of time. because we've been through that already. So it has become all, we are no longer in awe with the changes of nature and seasons and weather. Um, and so, yeah, it's a very different experience. And so now I still appreciate nature and seasons and weather. I go in the park all the time, even in winter all the time. I love it. Um, but it's more like I'm experiencing fragments of moments. And I know that the next moment it can change. I'm not going through seasons or phases. It's more me experiencing moments, days, and I'm reminded, oh, what seasons are we? Ah, yes, we're in at the end of the summer and the beginning of autumn, or whatever. I'm reminded of it, but I don't have that awareness that I'm going through that season anymore. It's very episodic. It's very, maybe it's the result of me practicing mindfulness after all these years. Everything is always about this moment, and it's okay. Pumpkin Puff, thank you for the little heart, whoever. Pumpkin Puff, it seems that society ignores teaching people to be mindful and that you should always be busy. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially Western-based societies, even though now in the East they are doing the same. If you look again, Japan, it's super different than what the original philosopher would recommend. Philosophers, I mean. And so, yes, the system is created for productivity. We live in a capitalist system, so because of that, they don't care about the well-being of individuals. And this is where we should fight and create a better society for everyone. The way society is designed, it treats its people like cattle. I talked about it briefly a little while ago, but if you look at the way everything is designed, the news, the information, the education, but also the food, everything that is put into place, more often than not, if we can look through the veil, we can realize that it's all very, very toxic and negative. There's nothing that supports our well-being. If you think about, people used to think about a life. What is it? You work all your life, 5 to 8, a job that you hate, and then by the end of it, you can retire. And again, this is horrible. What sort of life is there? You are basically producing, like, again, you are cattle, producing, and then at the end, if you do well, if you're not too ill, if you're not too stressed out, if you're not too tired, then you may enjoy a reward, a few years of playing golf, even though you've got a cancer by now or something like that. Or even though, or by then you may not even anyway. And so we need to change this. If you look at the food, also, again, a different conversation, but similar to that, you can realize that all the biggest food companies, they feed people poison. They literally feed things that gives them cancer. The biggest companies, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, KFC, Pepsi, Nestle, all of those things, is full of rubbish. It literally mutates the body to get worse. Trans fat, sugar, chemicals. But they don't care. It's cheap, it feeds people, it gets them to do the things, they sell the things, they treat them like cattle. And then education, same thing. Education at school, based on religions. So whether you are religious or not, you're going to believe that some people are good, some people are bad, some people are sinners, some people are righteous, some people will go to heaven, some people will go to hell. And so there's something that you can do, something that you cannot do. And we're going to be told that we must have shame. So we are living with fear and shame and guilt and division. And all of those are pollutions in our mind that creates separation, division, conflicts, clashes with others, but also mental and emotional illness in self. So this is what we've been fed from our younger years, because this is how they keep us on a constant stage of fear and unsafety and stress and discomfort. And if we're like that, then we can comply. We don't have critical thinking, and we believe whatever the media, the television, the people who are in charge are telling us. We believe that it's true. But none of this is true. It's all a big lies. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, not at all. but I can see that. And speaking from a position of therapy, I understand that mental and emotional health would absolutely be different, even if it's just that, if we change the whole system of thought and education and everything. Everything. Um, but this is what I'm doing. I believe that we can change this. It may take a little while. I may not be here to see it. I don't know. Maybe I will. But I believe that this is what we want to change. Happiness is directly related to our environment. And so the environment is decided and created by everyone in charge. So we can address our own immediate environment first, but then we can also do our best to try to impact everything else, everyone else. Yeah. So yes, pumpkin puff. Mindfulness would be absolutely one of the very important things to teach kids and people, not just kids, adults. Mindfulness, a growth mindset, emotional intelligence, and optimism for things. Lynn, I love learning about different cultures. We can learn a lot from each other. Yes, absolutely. Pumpkin puff. Seems you appreciate the changes in the seasons and what they bring, focusing on the day by day instead of the change of the future. Yep. Pumpkin puff. A lot of people hate one season and just wait for it to end and are grumpy or sad, but it feels like you blink and it's changed. Yes, yes, yes. No, I understand what you're saying. Yes, I can find beauty and appreciation in everything because I have worked on practicing mindfulness for a long time. This is what mindfulness is about. It's about developing the skill of finding and elevating the good stuff in each moment. Every moment has got good or bad. It's for us to have the mindset, the detective mindset, to find out what is it good about that moment. So you may be in a terrible situation. Maybe I just had an accident. I'm in pain. It's horrible. I'm in the hospital. I hate my life. I can't do the things that I want to do. But we can also think, okay, you know what? I had this. It sucks, but there's a hospital. There are people looking after me, and I can heal, and I will get better, and things will be okay at some point. So even in situations, there are ways to find good stuff. And this is what one of the things that mindfulness helps us do. Becoming more positive, empowering ourselves as opposed to disempowering ourselves through the simple but difficult yet skill of finding the good stuff that exists in each moment. And so that goes with each season. Each season has wonders. Mac Baghead. Hello, brother. You seem cool. I will sub to you. Enjoy your day. Thumbs up. Thank you so much, Mac Baghead. Baghead. Your support is appreciated. Giza. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Christ is king. I think someone is trying to, how do you say, stir shit. I can't think of anything else. Sorry, pardon my French. But basically, inflame a conversation, create some controversy. I'm going to ignore this. Again, this is one of those topics where people are very divided because it's all... Because when people talk about Charlie Kirk or MAGA or Brexit or any of those things, it's not about a conversation. It's about war. It's about tribes, clans, me versus you. Oh, we're going to overcome you. And so that's why those conversations never lead to anything, because people are not engaging in a conversation. They just want to win. And so they're in an emotional state where it's us versus them. It's a mentality that doesn't allow for growth. And so it's a waste of time. So I could talk about it. I did talk about Charlie Kirk yesterday on my live in TikTok, and I can again. But unless someone is genuinely interested, I don't think there's much point, because everyone has opinions, and mine is just another one of them. It's not more important. And also, Christ is King tells me about where you're coming from, about your environment. To this, I would say, yes, Christ is king, but he's not the only king. Allah is king, Buddha is king, Ganesha, Krishna, Odin, they're all kings. The spaghetti monster in the sky, king of the spaghetti monsters. I appreciate all of them in equal measure. AA dot. Leaks turn temptation. I'm into temptation. I heard hope is tainted by doubt, so we must simply show up for ourselves, proving to the subconscious that we believe in ourselves. Then we have the entire brain working for us to meet our goals. Well, no, hope is not tainted by doubt. Hope is hope. When hope gets tainted by doubt, it's no longer hope. Hope is pure, it's powerful, it's content, it's self, it knows what it is. Hope is the top thing that we can experience. It's the one thing that keeps us alive, that keeps us going. It's the most powerful state we can experience. But if we have doubt, in that moment, it's no longer hope. It's doubt, right? And so when you say we must show up for ourselves, so what you're talking about, I think you come from a perspective of coaches. A lot of coaches and motivational speakers, they talk about things from that perspective. You must do this, you must take responsibility, accountability, you must show up for yourself, you must be positive, you must keep going. And on paper, it makes sense. But they are missing that. And here's the thing, we can only do things if our heart allows us to do those things. Our mindset is determined and limited by our heart set. And so emotions are more important than thought. Emotions are going to limit our illusion of choice and options. And so when you say, so this is all very telling me that, because you are saying we must simply show up for ourselves, proving to the subconscious that we believe in ourselves. You can't prove your subconscious because your subconscious controls you beforehand. Right? There are some things that some people do. It's possible through the conscious mind, through the cognitive mind, to change some of the way we feel. But for many of us, it's not possible. It depends. If you had a trauma, if you have some inner wounds, if you have some mental conditions, that will not suffice to change that. 95% of our mind is emotional. Only 5% is cognitive. And so, even though it's true that if you think better thoughts, you will create better feelings and emotions, the ability to choose those thoughts will be determined by your original emotional state. We start with emotions. Our beliefs are emotional and subconscious. They are the automated programs that were created in childhood because of whatever happened to us then, up to this point. And then those emotions are going to trigger a reaction, an emotion, a state. And after that, we're going to have a thought to back up that emotion. It goes in that order. And then that thought is going to cultivate more of the same sort of emotion and feelings. And now we're caught into a vicious circle. And so we can either change how we feel by changing how we think, but it has its limitations because we're all different. Or, better still, we can find a way to access our subconscious mind through the mediums of hypnosis or meditation and address our belief from there. It's possible. This is what I do with RTT. And so I understand what you mean. It's true. It's absolutely true that we can change how we feel with how we think, but it's not that clear-cut. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because I don't want people to believe that some people are better than others. Some people are weaker than others. It's not like that. We all do our best and we're all limited by our emotional states, and no one knows what is happening behind someone's past and in their mind. Right? And so believe in ourselves. This is what you don't choose to believe in yourself. You either believe in yourself or you don't. It's based on your emotional self-perception. Right? And then we have the entire brain working for us to meet our goals. Yeah. So I think I understand what you're coming from, and there's some truth behind it, but there's also a lot of confusion. And I think the most important thing to really realize is that we have two minds that we work with. There are different minds, they utilize a different language, and they're there for different reasons, and they have different strength. And basically, there's the cognitive mind and the emotional mind. And this one is the one in charge. It's the one that is the most powerful, the fastest, and the place where everything starts. That's it. I hope something that I said made sense. Pumpkin Puff. I wish they taught emotional processing instead of repression. It's okay, we can do it now. So yes, it's true, but it would have been better, but it didn't happen. So what can we do now? Now we can learn how to have a better relationship with our emotions. And then, once we become very good at it, we can teach people. We can teach people who are close to us, our friends, our families, or kids, if we have kids. We can find systems to get teachers to teach it at school, so that the next generations can be better. We can write books about it like me, so that hopefully people will read it and start to change the way they behave in society and with their closed ones. City. Hi Didi. Do you recommend any books you think are really helpful for people to read? It depends. It depends what you want to do. If you want to, because I don't know what you want. If you want to know how to cook French food, there are books that are very good. If you want to learn how to do yoga, there are some books that are very good for that. I'm being facetious, but this is it. There's no book that everyone should read. It's just about what book do you need at this point in time in your life? What is your priority? What is important to you? And so, I don't know, what is it that you really want to change about your life? What do you have interest of? If you can give me that, I can absolutely recommend you some books that I may think are very appropriate for that. Books are only as helpful as the demand, as whether or not someone needs whatever is in the book, right? And also, there are different level of understanding of a subject. So some books are good for people who are just starting into something, and some others are more advanced for those who have been doing this for a long time. And so it's about finding out whatever is most aligned with what you want, what you need, and your state of, your level of awareness within that field. Pumpkin Puff. I was unaware of spaghetti monsters. You'll be surprised. There's so much going on there. All the words are taken. Hi, City. I am in a therapeutic book club. We're reading What My Bones Know by Stephanie Fu. All right. Okay. So there you go. Something. Let me Google this just out of curiosity. What my bones know. Okay. Every cell in my body is filled with the code of generations of trauma, of death, of birth, of migration, of history that I cannot understand. That sounds very good. Okay, cool. Yeah, it reminds me of Bessel van der Kolk and Bruce Lipton and all of those people. Sounds good. All the words are taken. Pumpkin Puff, the Pastafari claim, the flying spaghetti monsters. Okay, yes, the Pastafari. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm a bit of an infidel as far as the Pastafarians are concerned, I suppose. City. Oh, thanks for the tip. Okay, there you go. So City, there you go. What My Bones Know by Stephanie Fu. All the words are taken. My pleasure. Genko. Fact. All the words are pleasure. All the words are taken. Pleasure rather. Lol. Genko. Routine is foundation. Question mark. Yes, but it's not just foundation. Routine is momentum. And so basically what is our actual routine is the continuation of what we've done up to this point. So it's a momentum. Now you want to say new routine. If you want a new routine, if you want to create something new, if you want to create some change in your life, it's true that I understand what you mean. Routine is new foundation, as in system. System, repetition, sticking to the process is how we rewire our brain to develop and implement new habits over time. Indeed. Geeky is JT Valentine. I'm back now. Okay, Geezer, you news books as you are closed up. I don't understand. You news books as you are closed up. Could you rephrase this? Because at this point in time, it doesn't mean anything. You news books as you are closed up. Sorry. Try again, please. John Cross, how do you feel about Mongolians? I don't feel much. What do you want? What do you mean? There are some people who live in certain part of the world. Why would you ask this? I don't understand. I hope that you are being genuine and not disingenuous. Mongolians, they are close to, they are part of, I don't know if they are, I know that my granddad comes from the north of China next to Mongolia. So I understand why, because my name, Didikan, okay, I get it. Gosh. Okay, so I may have some ancestry with Genghis Khan precisely because of what I just said. But a lot of people do, apparently. So there's nothing much special about this. City, psychological, therapeutic kind of books, what was I meant? Okay, but for what? What do you suffer from? What is the main thing that is holding you back? What are the patterns in your life? That's what I mean. That's what I need to know. Because there are tons of stuff out there, really tons of stuff. And it's about finding what could help you. There's a lot of noise, but also a lot of things that people are not ready to get if they are not aligned with the sort of topics and level of conversations. Be happy, Mr. Eyebrow. Okay, another one. Mr. Be happy. This is not kind of you. Again, it's called body shaming. So people who are mocking people because they look different is discrimination. They're doing this because they've been used to mock people who are different, and it's very cruel and unkind, and we can do better than that. So please do better. I'm sure that you didn't think about it. You just did it because probably your parents did that to you, or they do it on others all the time. So it has become your normality. But we can make this place a better world by being kind to each other and by stopping doing this. So please, be kind if you can. If not, F off. It's very simple, right? You're not welcome here, if not. All the words are taken. Be happy. If you're here to be rude, please move on. Thank you so much. Indeed. Petra, only book you need is Bible and 1984 from Orwell in these days. I'm a huge fan of George Orwell. I am a huge fan of that book, indeed. The Bible, not so much. I grew up in a Catholic school, so there was a lot of nuns involved, and to me, it's a book that is very important for people who are Christians and they identify as such, and they need to belong in a tribe that has something that they can all appreciate. But I personally don't find it very interesting myself. Yeah. I'm not against Christianism. I accept all religions, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, all of them. But when people talk about the Bible, they generally come from a position as them favoritizing their own religion. And in my conversation, it's very important not to do that. Not because I want to put down people, but because I want to elevate everyone. Because some people may come the next month and say to me, you should read the Quran. And I'm like, I've got a copy of the Quran, actually, here. And but also, I don't find it interesting either. And so what I'm trying to say is that this is very specific. If you're into religion, the Bible, amazing. The Torah, amazing. The Quran, amazing. The Bhagavad Gita, amazing, and so on and so forth. But if not, those are very specific readings, right? Whereas, where I will absolutely agree with you is that 1984 is universally a perfect book for our days and time because it's the literal manual of what is happening in the world. And so I would agree with that. I'm not going against Jesus or anything, but I'm just saying that the Bible is really, really, really a specific book, such as any religious scriptures. But I appreciate that you like the Bible. It's a very popular book with a lot of people, and it's fair enough. JT Valentine, you should drink a glass of water if you've been going this long. It's important to stay hydrated. You're absolutely right. And I'm going to have some coffee. I have ADHD, so you're right. I forget to drink water. I absolutely do every day. I need to remind myself. I have problems with my body because of that. I've got gout. So if I don't drink water, my toe reminds me. And so, yes, no, absolutely, you're right. Thank you. But I'm not going to stay that much longer anyway. I think I've been here for long enough. I'm going to read the last comment, and I will slowly and gently depart then after that. John Cross, do you have a PhD? No, I don't have a PhD. Nope. Nope. JT Valentine, have you drink water or PhD? No, I don't. I don't have a PhD, not at all. My school adventure was very, very chaotic. Had a very difficult childhood, and so yeah, no, I never get myself a chance to do those things. But I've learned other things all throughout my adult life, and somehow I managed to do something that I always wanted to do. I never dreamt that I could, which is be a therapist and write books. But I've done it on the back of me going through my things in my own ways. But no PhD. All the words are taken. John Cross, PhD only required for psychologists. Most therapists have a bachelor degrees or masters, but not even therapists. I mean, it depends. In America, maybe it's different, but in the UK, a therapist is as simple as learning one or two tools that you can use to help people with. And so it's that simple. But what we need to understand when it comes to therapy is that what makes a therapist a good therapist is a lot of things that have very little to do with academia. It's about understanding life, understanding what happens at a personal level, emotional level when we're going through certain things, and then understanding how we can apply the tools that we have learned in regards to our own experience. So to me, the best therapists are people who've been through hell and out of it. And they have looked for a tool that they could use to help people go through the same path as they have to come out of the situations. And so I suffered from a lot of problems myself for a long time. And this is what makes me a good therapist. It's my understanding of the subject. I can remember how it feels. I suffer from depression, from anxiety. I tried to unalive myself. I was a drug addict and an alcoholic. And I was homeless from the age of 12. And I've been through all sorts of things. I have bipolar, borderline, ADHD, CPTSD. I was very violent, very angry, very aggressive, very reactive, full of hatred. I was very dark. I was a very different person up to the age of 38. But somehow I changed. I learned, I grew, and I developed a passion to find out more about the mind. And so I started to read millions of books. And then eventually I came across some courses that I thought could be interesting, and I did. And I learned some skills that I could apply with people in the context and with the knowledge that I've accumulated over a lifetime. And that is me. Some people have a lot of qualifications and they are terrible. Some people have no qualifications and they're fantastic. And but it goes the other way around. It takes a lot of many of factors for someone to be good at therapist. But academia is none of them. Because if it was, then anyone from the previous generations would have been fixed a long time ago. Right? In the 80s, in the 90s, nothing worked. I myself, just like everyone else, I had talking therapies. I hated them. Nothing worked. Didn't help. And so, again, back to what I often say, what we know about the mind has only been useful and precise and correct in the last 25 years. And so because of that, academia doesn't stand much, doesn't make much. It's just a bunch of theories written in books. Most of them are obsolete. And so, yeah. I think it's important because people look at the wrong place and get the wrong idea, especially when it comes to mental health. It's really a new field as far as efficiency is concerned. And there's so much things going on. And so, yeah, it's about finding someone with whom we can connect with, who we believe know what they're talking about and have our back. So, yeah. Pumpkin puff. If children learn from their parents and environment, and your parent is a narcissist, how do you know you're not also turning into a narcissist? Because a narcissist doesn't necessarily create a narcissist. A lot of us, my mom was a narcissist. I have borderline. So there you go. A lot of people who are narcissists of their parents, they may develop into different things. They may have different conditions, different problems. They will have problems for sure. Because narcissism is corrosive and very toxic. And if it's your parents, it's going to affect the development of your brain and the way you function in society. And so narcissism affects people badly, but the way it develops is different for everyone, and it's not necessarily narcissism. My mom, narcissist, and I thought I was narcissist for a long time, but no. Now that I understand more about the mind, now that I've been a professional, mental health professional, I know that I don't have narcissism. But there's a lot of overlaps with other conditions. And so when it comes to NPD versus BPD, there's that element of grandiosity that is very common for both. And so, yeah. Narcissism is very, very specific. Right? It's very important to know a definition and to learn about it. Otherwise, it's very easy to call people something that they're not, just because some of their behavior reminds us of something that we seem to know about that condition. Even for professionals, it can be a little bit complicated because there's a lot of overlaps. So how do we know that we're not turning into a narcissist? It's very simple. It depends on if you had any care about someone, any empathy, any compassion. If you wanted the good of someone, then you're not a narcissist. If you're worried that you may be a narcissist because you don't want to hurt others, you're not a narcissist. Narcissists, they don't have that ability. So yeah. Are you talking for yourself or for people that you know? Pumpkin puff. Petra, yeah, it's big difference between religion like church or be really followed or Christ. Shout out to my Muslim friends. Thank you so much, Petra. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. There's a difference between spirituality and tribalism. A lot of people, they are into religion not because of spirituality, but because they want to belong to a tribe. Like you see with Charlie Kirk, for instance. All these people in America, they don't care about Jesus. They want to belong to a group of people who are superior, who are alpha, who control, who are safe between each other. Because if they really believed in Jesus, they wouldn't behave the way they do. They wouldn't preach the things that we preach. They wouldn't instill hatred, division, oppression. Jesus was against everything that those people do. And so that's the huge difference. A lot of people don't realize that they are in a religion not because of spiritual reason, but because of tribalism, because they need to belong. And that is a problem. But for those who are utilizing religion as a spiritual connection with God, now that's something else. And it's something that I absolutely applaud and admire and appreciate. So thank you, Petra. JT Valentine, bye. See you soon. When will you do your next stream? I'm going to do it Wednesday. I've planned to go live on YouTube for the next few weeks, every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time. I want to try that slot. It works for me, and so I'm going to see over the next few weeks if it works. If it stays like that or more busy, I will stick to that time. Otherwise, I may decide for the next month to choose different slots and days and see what happens. But for now, I will do my best to. No, I will come every Wednesdays and Fridays on YouTube from 6 p.m. UK time. I also do live on TikTok, but they are more impulsive depending on my schedule. YouTube, however, I really want to push that channel, so there you go. If you can come back Wednesday or Friday, then that's where you can find me. If you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me scheduling my live, or when I go live, you can join. Okay? Thank you. All the words are taken. Thank you for the live, Didi. My therapist would love you. I'm gonna have her check you out. Okay, fantastic. Yes, do that. A lot of my friends, colleagues, we are connected and we share notes. It's a great thing to do. JT Valentine, thank you for the emojis, everyone. JT Valentine, it's really amazing you are where you are today, considering where you started from. This is it. We all have a story, and we can all change, regardless of how bad it was, how long it was, regardless of whatever we feel, whatever we are going through. And I really, sometimes I think about my own past, and I'm like, gosh, I forget how bad it was and how far I've come. But it's absolutely possible for everyone to change whatever situation that you're in, even if it's been like that all your life. It's absolutely possible. Nothing is guaranteed, but everything is possible. Petra, if you're asking yourself, I am narcissist, you probably don't. Yes, true. But there are some exceptions. This is the thing. This is what I used to think for a long time. But now I do know some narcissists who are realizing that they are narcissists. So there are some exceptions. But the general rule would be indeed that if it's not, you can ask yourself if you are a narcissist or not. But if you are worried that you're a narcissist because you don't want to be bad to others, that's when you know for sure that you're not. Yeah. Now you can wonder, am I a narcissist? But without the empathy, the worry that you may affect others negatively. That's the difference. Pumpkin Puff, 100% would rather listen to someone like you who have been through a lot and came out of the other side than someone with a degree who hasn't. Thank you. Thank you, Didi, for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much. JT Valentine, what do you know about Dark and Puff? I've done lots of research, but if you know anything you think I wouldn't, that would be very helpful. You know what? Let's talk about it next time if you want. Because now I've been here for longer than I thought I was going to be. I was going to stop at 8 o'clock and I'm still here. So, JT Valentine, please come back next time and remind me of that conversation. We can absolutely talk about this. But I think I've got to resume this because I've got other things to do as well. So I'm going to just read the last comment and say goodbye. Petra, biggest issue if you grew up with a narcissistic parent, you might become a human magnet for them in your future life. There's that as well, absolutely. Yep. So there are different ways to evolve, and that's one of them. Very often, many people end up allowing the same sort of manipulative people in their life because they remind them of how they felt when they were with their parents. It's the same feeling, and so we are attracted to what feels familiar. Pumpkin Puff, on the narcissistic topic, my father shows signs of being one. His mother was a narcissist. I question and fear if I am acting like him sometimes without realizing. I doubt that you are, just based on our conversation so far. I very much doubt. But again, let's talk about this on my next live, please. JT Valentine, what's your first language? My very first language was Cantonese with my parents, and then I learned French because I was at school, and then Italian was my first secondary language that I learned at school, and then Mandarin because when you speak Cantonese you need to, and then English. But now I only remember English. I barely speak one language. You only retain what you use, and I never use the other language. I speak Cantonese with my mum on the phone, but it's very, very basic. And I've lost my Italian and my Mandarin a long time ago. Timothy, bro, I wish you the best. Just found your content a week ago. I almost watched all your shorts. Oh, wow. Thank you, Timothy. I hope your channel grows bigger and much blessing for you in the future. Thank you so much. And also, I've started to record some new long-form content. And so from next week, there's going to be one new long-form video every week. I start to publish it next week. But I'm very excited about this because it's something that I wanted to do for a long time. And I'm going to get rid of all my old, cringy, long videos. So if you are interested in what I do as shorts, try my longs and hopefully you will appreciate this as well. JT, I will definitely come back next time. Fantastic. JT, Pumpkin Puff, we're all on the spectrum. JT, but it doesn't mean that we are all narcissists. Yes, true. Petra, my father is full-blown narc, mother codependent, my first partner narcissistic, second partner same, a few friends, same traits. I can actually uncover them very quick now. Okay, fair enough. Very, very. Thank you so much and sending love to all. Okay, finally, I reached the end, the bottom of it. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for attending that live and interacting with me or watching in the background. I will come back every Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. UK time on YouTube. I also go live on TikTok, but it's more all over the place. And the difference between YouTube and TikTok is that on YouTube, my live streams stay on my profile. So if you go on the live section on my profile, you can see all of my live. If you've been asking me things, you can always replay the video to retrieve whatever information. Other than that, I think that's it. If you need more details about me as a therapist and coach, there's also a link to my website on my bio. So we can organize a discovery call. If you want to work with me, we can decide if that is possible. Other than that, I wish you all a fantastic day and night wherever that you are in the world. Let me read the last comment. Pumpkin. Timothy, have a nice day, bro. See you next time. Yes, thank you. JT, bye. Remember me? Yes. Well, all we need is to talk, and then I will remember you, I'm sure. Pumpkin Puff, thank you, Didi. Hope you have a nice rest of your evening. Thank you. Lynn, looking forward to your long-form content, Didi. Enjoy your weekend. Petra, great chat. God bless you all. Guys, my motto, be kind to others if you can, but if you can't, at least be kind to yourself. Okay? It's my Jerry Springer motto. See you next. Love you all. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.